let's just go ahead and jump right into the elephant in the room. It's clear that I am done giving a fuck. I think it's safe to say pretty much everyone's done giving a fuck right now during this quarantine time. Who cares about looking cute? Not me. But in today's video, I'm going to talk about why I will never, ever, ever, ever have children. I'm sure you all know that the society we live in, there are a lot of pressures put onto women. You have to know how to cook, you have to know how to clean, you need a husband to take care of you, and of course the ever so exasperating, so when are you gonna have kids? You know, throughout my childhood, I remember playing with baby dolls and dreaming of baby names because I thought that's what I was supposed to wish for. But then I grew up and came to the realization that, oh shit, I actually don't have to deal with these loud-ass demon babies. I also basically grew up as an only child because my sister is 16 years older than me, and she actually ended up having 4 kids starting at age 19 when I was 3. So I've technically been an aunt since I was 3 years old. That alone was enough birth control for me. Now I want to make this clear before I get into my reasons, because I know a lot of y'all don't stick around to watch till the end of the video anyway. So I have nothing but the utmost respect for mothers. I could never, and I mean never, do what they do. There are so many women out there whose lifelong dream is to be a mom, and I think that's great. And I also have so much respect for women who want so badly to have children but can't due to fertility issues. But unfortunately, there are these myths and stereotypes still perpetuated today that all women dream of nurturing a child, that we all have that maternal instinct where we just can't help but care for tiny humans. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not me. And here's why. Let's talk about pregnancy. You can have nausea with or without vomiting, even sometimes in the later trimesters. Fun. Having to pee all the goddamn time. Swollen or tender breasts, fatigue, bloating, cramps, moodiness. This all sounds like a period on steroids. Yeah, I'd rather not. Here's some I hadn't heard before. Lightning crotch pain. What? Horrible heartburn, insomnia, constipation, apparently bad Charlie horses, bleeding gums, hemorrhoids, of course swollen feet and other swollen extremities, nosebleeds, and yeast infections. All possible side effects of carrying a tiny human. Need I say more? No, before y'all say anything, I know every pregnancy is different. Everyone's body reacts differently. I'm very aware of this. But even just the possibility of any of these side effects happening to me, it's a no. It's just a no from me, dog. Moving on to the big day of giving birth, going into labor. Pain. Do I really have to elaborate on that? I've heard many a times from multiple different women that giving birth was the worst pain they've ever experienced in their life. I can barely handle menstrual cramps. Yeah, no thanks. You can shit. You can literally shit while giving birth. That sounds great. And yeah, I'm sure OBGYN doctors are very used to saying that, but I don't care. No. There can be a number of things that go wrong with the delivery, with the baby not being able to breathe. You know, I mean, there's so many things. Obviously, you can give birth to a child with special needs, which is always a very difficult challenge. And I can't even imagine the parents that go through that. And I really commend those parents because it just seems like it would be so just really challenging on top of a task that's already challenging enough, which is just raising a child. C-section recovery does not sound fun at all. If you were to be forced to have a C-section, yeah, that nope. Apparently you have to deliver the placenta afterwards too or something. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know much about that, but it just sounds disgusting. Oh yeah, and don't they have to like sew you back, like sew your vagina back up afterwards or something? Like, or like give you like stitches in your vagina? I could totally be wrong on that. It may be the total myth that I heard when I was younger, but that sounds terrifying. So that's actually true. Apparently many times the perineum area between your vagina and anus will tear during childbirth. Other times your doctor may have to make a small cut in that area to widen your vagina for childbirth. And even if neither of those things happen, that area will still be sore and possibly swollen postpartum. Cool. And your body's never really gonna be the same, or it's never gonna be easy to go back to normal, which again, I commend all the moms out there that have just bounced back to their regular bodies, because I barely have motivation to work out now while I'm young and childless. With child and older and different body because of labor, no. I refuse. And of course there's always the possibility of dying while giving birth, which is terrifying. And of course Black women are 2.5 times more likely than white women to die from pregnancy. I found this quote from NBC News. Black women have historically had the highest maternal mortality rates. Researchers do not have a clear explanation, but they suspect a combination of institutional racism in society and the healthcare system, as well as Black women's increased susceptibility to certain health conditions such as obesity and hypertension. Black women are also less likely to have access to quality prenatal care. I mean, come on. Obviously I know those are rare cases, dying, you know, during labor, but it's possible. It's possible, and especially with me being a Black woman, it's even more possible. That's just completely sad and terrifying and horrible to think about. Now let's move on to when the kiddos are finally here. Caring for infants and small children. Sleep? There is none. I like my sleep. I enjoy sleeping. You know, the doctors say you're supposed to get at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. I don't know if that's really possible with tiny humans to care for. They cry, they whine over any and everything. They're loud for no reason. They're annoying. They're just flat out. Kids are very annoying. They definitely can be, like maybe 80% of the time, I'd say. The other 20% of the time they're just either sleeping or distracted by TV or games or something, and they're actually quiet. And I cannot handle the temper tantrums, y'all. I know not all kids are the same, and sometimes, you know, it's different when it's your own child, your own blood, as opposed to taking care of someone else's child. But I don't think it would make that much of a difference for me, to be honest. And I know probably not all kids throw crazy ass temper tantrums, but they do. They pretty much all do. Money, 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 money. You're gonna be spending a lot on those kids. I'd rather not, like, sorry. And simply having to care for another human being just does not sound fun to me. You have to feed them, you have to bathe them, you have to do their hair, you have to dress them, you have to teach them how to potty, you have to teach them important life lessons and make sure they're in a good school environment. It's just a lot. It's too much for me. And bringing a kid into this world, that alone is just, it's a tough thing to deal with. This world is cruel. The world is not gonna treat your kids very nicely, pretty much no matter where they come from. Obviously, if you're more wealthy, you may not have to experience as much cruelty, especially if you're white or of lighter skin tones. This world is very cruel. It's full of very nasty, terrible people. Obviously, kids at school can be cruel as well and bully your kids, and even to the point where they may think about ending their own lives. That's a scary thought. And also just the fact of climate change being a real threat to our lives as we know it. You have to make sure they don't grow up to be drug addicts or alcoholics or murderers. And even still, no matter what you do, they always have that possibility of growing up to be a horrible person, and there's really nothing you can do about it. I mean, quite frankly, just the mere idea of keeping them alive and safe is an insanely important responsibility that I will just never really be willing to take on. And also postpartum depression. Forgot to mention that. If you want to call me selfish, that's fine. I guess I am selfish in a sense for caring about my own mental well-being, but I'm not meant to be a mother. I would be a terrible mom. I'm very impatient when it comes to kids, and to have a child despite that would just be unfair to the child. Let's be real here, there are a lot of people who are parents that should have never been parents to begin with. I'm not gonna be one of those people. I much prefer dogs over babies, and I'd rather be that rich auntie that's always traveling the world anyway. I think that's more my vibe. So that's it. That's all my reasons for not ever wanting kids. And no, I will not change my mind later on. I don't see myself at age 30 suddenly being like, oh wait, never mind. Yeah, so if you're a woman especially that just doesn't feel the desire to be a mother one day, know that you're normal and there's nothing wrong with that. I know in a lot of different cultures it's very looked down upon to not reproduce. I really feel for people in those cultures, and I'm definitely grateful that I'm not in a very strict environment, and I know those who care about me will accept me childless or not. And once again, kudos to all the moms and dads out there, because you're superheroes basically. I just can't imagine having to raise a human being into a functioning adult that at least somewhat knows what they're doing and how to treat others. So that's all for me today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to join the fam bam. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.